What's up, my fellow scruffy looking nerf herders, and welcome to the Carbonite Chat. Today, I'm going to be responding to Dorkside of the Force. Now, this isn't really my typical thing, but he just said anyone that boycotts Solo is not a fan. And yeah, I got a lot of followers that are boycotting the Solo movie, and I'm going to defend them because you're an idiot. This is the same argument that they had when we watched The Last Jedi, and I don't believe I ever did. There may have been a time, because I did a lot of videos on The Last Jedi. I don't think I ever said that you're not a fan if you like it. I think I always was fair, and if you look in the comments, almost anybody that said they liked it, I just asked them why. I said, please explain it to me, I'd love to know. Because I can't find anything. I think it's horrible. I've got like 20 videos discussing why I think it's objectively bad. And it's not a good Star Wars movie. It's not a Star Wars movie. But that was the complaint. Everybody says, you can't tell us that we're not real Star Wars fans. You can't say it. You can't. But then guess what? People boycott Solo, and now they're going to revoke our fan cards. We're not real fans. It's dumb, as he says, Jonathan Morales, who writes at Dorkside, which is basically peddling to just trying to write for people that want to hate on and try to make it out. Like, their whole goal is to try to make it look like the Star Wars fan base is toxic. It's funny. They're propagandists for the Empire, basically, at a very low level. And that they're going to try to make some, they make comments about like, oh, people want to say we're Disney shills. No. You're too low and pathetic for Disney to ever even consider giving you any money. You're just pathetically pandering because you're pathetic. See, you talk about that because after they say, like, you don't have a right to have your fan card because you don't like Solo, you're not even willing to watch Solo because you're boycotting and it's dumb. Then he goes on to say how he's a big fan and he's watched every single movie. See, I've watched every movie. So has every one of these people you're calling not real fans. So you're going to watch them. You watch them, and then he goes, but I realized because he's so enlightened, he's woke, he's just this brilliant person that understands everything. Now, this is the same website that had people like Patrick Willems that I had a nice little response to when he put on Twitter, because he liked The Last Jedi, because, well, it fits his ideals. He made a bunch of articles or a bunch of tweets where he mocked Empire Strikes Back. See, this is the complaints that we have. Anybody that really tries to defend The Last Jedi ends up hating on the original trilogies. Now, see, we're called not fans, but their way to try to defend it is to hate on the other stuff. Now, if you want to find anything that's got some flaws in it, it's going to be Return of the Jedi, which I think even the largest Star Wars fan can admit there's some issues with it. We still love it. It's a great movie. It's some people's still favorite Star Wars movie. That's my girlfriend's favorite Star Wars movie. Of course, I think it's just because of the Ewoks, but she'll deny that. But Empire, they wrote an article saying Empire Strikes Back ruined Star Wars. And then posted a bunch of tweets by Patrick Willems mocking Empire Strikes Back. See, they're the real fan base. This is the website that defines and decides who's the real fan base. But then he's talking about how, I understand that it's not up to me, that it's not my choice, that I'm just along for the ride, but you can tell people who can and cannot get on the ride. And you can tell people standing outside who says, this isn't the ride you're looking for, to not get on it. He goes on to say that if you're watching your favorite TV show and one episode is bad, are you going to stop watching it from that point on? Maybe you're not a real fan. This is the definition of a straw man. And see, this is what they tend to run along with and do. It's why they always try to pick the easiest thing. It's why they always go for the racist or the bigot or the sexist. Like my last video that I was breaking down the box office of Solo and talking about how it was bombing and what it could mean, how much money they could lose, and how much money, if you look at the estimation of other box office numbers, how much money they could probably make in the long run. And whether or not it was because of a boycott. And people are calling me neo-Nazi because of that. Because I'm reading numbers. Doing math. Like, if that's racist, you might have a problem. And like one woman said, this white boy sure is trying to hide his racism. He was so excited to say that. Like, Yeah, I was excited to say Solo failed. The movie led by a white woman as the president of the studio, directed by a white man, with the leading actor being a white man, the leading female being a white female. The only black actress in the movie killed almost immediately. Sorry, spoilers. And and then his mentor being a white person. This is an all-white movie. If anything, I should be cheering it. But if you looked, I actually talked well about Black Panther in that movie. Not that it matters, because I don't care. I care about what's good, not about some stupid thing like how dark or not dark your skin is. You were born that way. You can't adjust it. I care more about whether or not the type of person you are. And if that makes me a Nazi or a racist, then you're an idiot. And I'll proudly say it. You're a stupid idiot if you say something like that. Because I'm not cursing. I'm not swearing. I'm not saying any of these stupid things. I'm not calling for people's heads. None of that. You won't find it in none of my videos. I've got hours and hours and hours of videos. The worst I do is call for someone to be fired. And I've called some of the people from this magazine company idiots. And if that makes me a bad person, well, sorry. Now, see, this is a straw man argument where you sit here and you talk about that it's one episode for a TV series. Because, see, Star Wars comes out once a year. Like one season of a TV show. See, that's not how... that's the first argument to their weakness, is that the weakness of their argument, how it's a straw man, that they want to make our side look so infantile and just pathetic. Like, it's just one episode. What are you doing? You can't do that. No. Okay. This is like you're watching Sherlock, and then one whole season of Sherlock ends up where he can't think. His brain just doesn't work. He can't remember anything that's going on here. And you're like, well, what in the world? I just watched a whole season of Sherlock, and who Sherlock is his wit, his ability to decipher and understand what no one else can understand to be able to capture the perpetrator. And then you complain about that, which is what we did, because that's what it was with The Last Jedi. But see, that still shows how bad of an argument this is, because that's not even enough. See the shirt I'm wearing right now? It's a reference to the head of Lucasfilm, who wore a shirt that said the Force is female. That also stood up in front of people and said, she don't care about what the male fans have to say, whether or not she pleases them. That's ironic, because that's a pretty large fan base. The majority of your fan base, the majority of the toy sales that have collapsed since saying such things. Probably not smart. The fathers of all of these families that are not taking their entire family to go watch Solo because of this. See, they see that when you're doing things like that, that's a negative thing on their children, and they don't want to be a part of it. See, I didn't put the Force as male because I'm not sexist. I don't give a crap about whether it's a male or female. If you've watched my other videos, you know my favorite character is Asajj Ventress. That's a female for you fans out there that don't know these things, like you, Jonathan Morales. I don't give a crap. I care about good characters. I care about good storytelling. Most of all, I care about it being actually Star Wars, and that's why the arguments began with The Last Jedi. Because, see, you talk about that you're a fan, and we're not. And you talk about that you're on for the ride. But see, here's the thing. Let's compare it to, as a lot of people have, you go to a restaurant and you order a steak. Star Wars was the #1 franchise. It was special. It was something different. You ordered the steak. Now, if they brought you fish, and you eat the fish, and you say it was good, and you're going to come back to this restaurant later, you don't know steak. Now, if I go and I order steak and I get fish and I say that was not the steak, and then they start calling me a racist bigot because they say, oh, it doesn't even make sense, because I was about to say, the chef's, someone of color, but that doesn't make sense because there's not even people of color, colored people, whatever, any different thing, any of that, none of them are working at Lucasfilm. Or at least not the heads. No one's arguing about Carrie Hart. No one's arguing about Leland Chee or Pablo Hidalgo. No, we're going after Kathleen Kennedy and Ryan Johnson, with a few people going after J.J. Abrams. Where's the color in that one? Where's the racism in that one, huh? My last video, so many people commented down below and they're like, I'm boycotting, and I'm this, I'm black, I'm, whatever they were. Because it's not about that, it's about the quality, and is it Star Wars? Are we watching Star Wars? And see, we want Star Wars to be great, because it was. So what can we do to make it great? We can show that we're not going to purchase anything. See, you say it's stupid, people aren't even willing to watch Solo. Yeah, you don't understand what a boycott is, you idiot. That's what it doesn't matter. The point is if we don't stop it now, then in 10 years, Star Wars is over with for us. You've got it. You talk about just on for the ride. Well, if you want to just go on for the ride, you can watch Transformers, you can watch Fast and the Furious, you can watch Marvel, you can watch the X-Men universe, you can watch DC if you just want to shut off your brain and just go. I mean, you can go do that. Star Wars was something in and of itself. It was something special. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy tried to get a little bit of the feel of it. But Star Wars was Star Wars. It was different. And that's what people loved. And that's why it was the largest franchise with the most dedicated, diehard fan base. And when you have that, and you start to cause issues with it, there's going to be fight back. And that's what's happened here. See, that's what a boycott is. Like, maybe you need to do a little research, Jonathan Morales, or maybe you just can't figure it out because you're used to pathetic arguments with the friends at Dorkside of the Force that can't put together a legitimate argument and just straw man everything. But y'all all agree on the same thing because y'all have no diversity of thought. There's no one that you even listen to or consider that would talk about whether or not The Last Jedi is bad. I got like 30 videos talking about objectively why The Last Jedi is bad. I'm not talking about sex. I'm not talking about race. Actually, I do. I talk about how Disney is actually more racist because of some of the stuff that's in the novels. So actually, yeah, I'm actually defending it. But I'm defending it as Disney's the one that's doing issues. Because a lot of people are talking about how Finn's a racist portrayal. But not time for that. But I'm the racist. I'm the neo-Nazi in this whole situation. Because you think it's going to scare off people. Because you call me that and you think I'm just not going to say anything. You're wrong. Because I don't care. Only stupid people would think that. Only stupid people would judge something like a guy said, I saw your shirt on the last video because I was wearing a Fire Kathleen Kennedy shirt and I knew it was biased. It's like, say one thing from my video that was biased. Tell me one number I put out that was wrong. Tell me it, because you can't. And that's the argument. See, we're willing to have a discussion. You're not. But when you have the head of the company saying these things to us, and you have people like you telling us that we're not fans anymore because we refuse to watch a movie, because our hope is that if we show that we're not going to support what's happening here, because you destroy people like Mark Hamill, look at some of the interviews that he did, how depressed he looks, and tell me whether or not that what they've been doing is good for Star Wars. Give me a frickin' break. Like, it's insanity. This is an issue. And I want to be able to show my kids Star Wars. I want to be able to take my kids to the movies to show them Star Wars, but I'm not going to show them crap. Anyone that's been on my channel for any period of time knows that I expect a lot out of movies. And I'm not going to take them to a little shut your brain off, watch stupid stuff happen. And I'm not. If you want to do that, that's fine. I'm not going to call you not a fan. I'll call you, Jonathan Morales, not a fan. But I don't want that. That's not what Star Wars was. There's a reason Star Wars was like number 13 on the AFI all-time movie list. And why Empire is considered one of the best movies of all time. See, that's why I liked it. Because it was a fantasy, but it was something different and special. See, my other favorite movies of all time are There Will Be Blood, Godfather Part 2, these types of things. So for me, I don't watch these other movies as much. I haven't watched any of the Marvel movies up until just recently. So Star Wars was important. So it's worth fighting for. It's something that matters, and for a lot of people, it matters. So you have no right to sit here and talk about that you'll take away their fan card with stupid, terrible arguments. Because we're saying we go to watch a horror film and you show us Dumb and Dumber 2. Like, nah, that's a comedy. That's not a horror film. And you want to complain because we keep showing up to the horror film and you keep showing us comedies, and we're like, I'm not paying for this anymore. And you're like, you didn't even watch the next one. You know what? If you stick your arm in through a hole, and each time you do, a snake bites it, and you do that 5 times in a row, if you stick your arm in the 6th time, you're an idiot. You're dumb. You see? We have power because we have money. Our money is what pays their bills. If we don't like it, we cannot give them money, and then they have to adjust or continue to lose money. That's what the boycott's about. That's why them making almost half, 66% of what they predicted to make is a big deal. That's why we're celebrating. And if you want to talk about, can't you just let us enjoy it? Go watch it. Show me a picture of like a group of people standing out in front of a movie, not allowing people to make it into the movie. Show me a video of someone causing a disturbance inside of a theater. You're the one looking at different YouTubers' videos. You're the one that's looking at people on Twitter. You're the one that's looking into these things. See, we're talking about a $4 billion company that we're complaining about. The president of said company wearing stuff that's going against an entire gender. And you're talking about some YouTubers with like 50,000 subscribers. Obviously not myself included, because I don't have that many. But you're complaining about smaller YouTubers when you look at the whole grand scheme of things. Who's the people that's whining? Who's the people that's crying? All you people that are going to try to come in here and say something like, you were a bunch of whiny babies. Yeah, you're coming onto a YouTube channel with like 2,000 subscribers that I don't know how many views this will get, but my biggest video I've ever done is 50,000 views on it. And you want to sit there and you want to say, we're the whiny babies, that we need to grow up. What are you doing? What are you doing? How pathetic are you? I'm having a conversation talking about the largest studio, the largest franchise in the world. And you're talking about people, a guy with 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. You're the pathetic one. You're the one whose life's sad. Think about that when you comment. You're not even gonna hear this because you don't listen to the argument. Again, no one listens to it. They want to shut their ears. If someone says something opposite of what they believe, they want to say you're racist and you're sexist and in the conversation. But that doesn't work anymore. We're still here. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I had to get that off. I know it's not my typical thing. I don't really normally do that. But that angered me, and I had to. So, yeah, there's that. If you like this shirt, or shirt from like my other videos, the Make Star Wars Great Again, or the Fire Kathleen Kennedy, Fire Ryan Johnson, the last Ryan Johnson movie, all those will be on my TeePublic page, linked down below if you want to pick any of those up. And I also have a link to my podcast. It's basically this, but some of my videos run a little bit longer. So if you want to be able to listen to those while working out or driving or whatever it is, it'll be linked to that down below. Or just type in Carbonite Chat on Apple iPods. Thank you very much for watching. And never forget, you Nerf Herders, I love you.